When was the last time that you were genuinely uncomfortable? Now, obviously, I'm not talking about something extreme, right? Like cliff jumping or something dramatic. But I mean, really, something that made you uncomfortable, that made you a little nervous, that maybe, spiked a little anxiety, or, leading up to it, you were like, oh, I don't know how this is going to go. Something that, is really going to make you grow. Because the reason I bring it up is when you do things that make you uncomfortable, like, for example, today I had a sparring session, and last night I was really thinking about it all night because, the last time I had sparred this certain person, he didn't get the better of me, but he gave me problems. And so it made me question my own abilities. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to try this new approach. But I had these, thoughts, and I was overthinking, and I was a little nervous. And, I'm not always nervous when I spar, but for this particular reason I was. And it made me realize that it's really good to have something that you can, it's almost like instead of looking forward to it, it's like you're the opposite of looking forward to it. But it's something that's going to push you forward and make you grow as a person. And obviously, you're not going to relate to something like sparring unless you boxed before. But for you, for weight loss and, personal development, it's like, starting to read a book, even though you genuinely don't want to, or maybe it makes you feel a bit uncomfortable because you've never really been good at reading. Starting to take a cold shower when you never really have before, and it sucks. But then once you get done, the feeling after you do something that is, uncomfortable, or something that you don't really want to do, it could be either or. Like for the sparring example, it's not like I, force myself to spar even though I don't want to at all. It's just more of like I was a bit, nervous. I had some anxiety. I was overthinking a bit, so I was kind of like, really, thinking about it. But there's also things where you can just do something that genuinely sucks. Like, I don't say, you should run for weight loss, but something for the mind, and that's going to make you more disciplined as an individual, going on a run, or like I said, reading a book, or tracking your first meal, or maybe there's, a weight that you're trying to hit for the last 3 weeks. You've been plateauing, and so now you're kind of nervous before you go to hit this PR on this lift, right? Because you're like, I don't know, last week it didn't go my way. You need these things that make you uncomfortable because it pushes growth. If we just are so complacent and nothing really, uncomfortable happens in our lives, it's what causes misery. And I truly believe that. And I've seen that with myself and with other people. If you're just, kind of going through the motions, you're just chill, whatever, it is what it is kind of, mentality, and you don't want to, have any type of adversity. You don't want to have any type of uncomfortability. You don't want to do anything that's hard, and you're just avoiding things and just, Netflix, junk food, just doing your work, getting home, going to bed, repeat the cycle. You need to be challenging yourself. You need to be challenging yourself. And so I want you to, genuinely ask yourself, when was the last time I did something that was genuinely uncomfortable for me? When was the last time I kind of pushed my limits as to what I thought I could do? Because when you do something like this, I promise you the feeling that you're going to get afterwards is so much better than the feeling that you have before.